Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Lie to Me by Natasha Preston, narrated by Stevie Zimmerman and Dan Calley. 1. Savannah. 3 years ago, to the day, I took off in the middle of the night, leaving only a note behind. I was 19, and in so much pain. My family had no idea that I was planning my escape. They didn't have a clue how bad things were for me. Or perhaps they just didn't care. I suppose, in the end, it doesn't matter. I'm in my cosy little kitchen, 100 miles away from home, and although I don't really have anyone, I'm better off. It's better to have a small group of genuine friends than dozens of surface ones, right? Well, that's me. Only instead of a small group, I have one friend, who's also my boss, who I could be genuine with, but that would involve opening up. Basically, neither of those is me. I don't have friends. I'm the hermit. That's me. Placing my hands around my mug of steaming hot coffee, I drop my shoulders. Yes, okay, I might be better off. But it still sucks. Things were so bad back then, and I had no one to turn to, no one who seemed to be on my side, or at least trying to see things from my perspective. So I did the only thing I felt I could, and I left. I hate to admit that I still feel the ache in my chest when I think about the circumstances surrounding my total abandonment of my boyfriend and entire family. Sometimes it takes my breath away, and other times I can ignore it. The ache is like the moon, always there, but not always visible. My mum and my ex contact me often, but I do everything I can to keep them out of my life. I don't want to go back there. I don't even want to think about what happened. In these last 3 years, my life has changed immeasurably. I used to live with my family in a large house on a respectable estate where everyone kept their grass cut at a scarily precise length. It was a beautiful and safe place to grow up. It's where I met Simon, a.k.a. the Colossal Wanker. It's also where I left Simon. Now, I live in a small one-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of the city. It's a nice flat, built about 6 years ago, and I rent it from a sweet lady who bought it to hand down to her granddaughter when she turns 18. The apartment is also super close to work. Sometimes I barely recognise the person staring back at me in the mirror. But this year I am determined to rebuild me. The warm July rain hammers down on the window in my little kitchen. In my old life, I hated the rain. I used to care so much about my appearance and would never leave the house without perfect makeup, flawless hair and trendy clothes. When I closed the door to the old Savannah, or Sav as I was nicknamed, I decided it was pointless to worry about such trivial things. When your whole world has imploded on you, it makes stressing over flat hair a little too superficial. In an hour I have to walk out the door for work. I'm ready, as I hate being late anywhere. Not that my boss and only friend here would mind if I was a few minutes late. Heidi is everything I want to be. She's strong, independent and successful, and she seems to have everything together. Her ducks are in a row. Mine are zigzagging. Though, I suppose, leaving everything I knew at 19 and building a new life on my own does make me independent. But I'm working on the rest of it. Most of the time, I feel lost. My laptop is open on the table in front of me. I kept my old Facebook account, but I don't use it. Savannah Dean is long gone. The picture of me barely looks like me. I was 18, and the photo was taken at Glastonbury. Even there, my dark blonde hair is styled in a perfectly maintained bun. Why did I ever care so much about what people thought of me? There are 2 unread messages in my inbox. I open every single one Simon, my family, and old friends have sent, but I never reply. Here goes nothing. With my heart racing, I click the first one. Simon. He can bugger off. His messages have changed a lot over the years. They started desperate, then turned angry, and then were full of hurt and a million apologies where he said sorry but didn't actually take any responsibility. Lately they've been more pleading, but in the last 2 weeks he's thrown in some desperation again. Sav, I know it's been a little while since I last tried to contact you, but I hope I've given you enough space to really think about us getting together. You probably have questions, lots of them, and I want to give you answers. Please let me at least try to offer you some peace. Please. I need to do this, and you need to hear this. We can both heal if you just let me talk to you." Nope, not a chance in hell. My finger hovers above the keys, and my eyes tense. I want to tell him where he can go, straight to hell. But 3 years ago I resolved to never speak to him again, unless the apocalypse happened, and we were the last people on Earth. And then our only interaction would be me laughing as I threw him to a zombie. Since that's not happening. With shaking fingers I click off his message and open the one from my mother. "Savannah, my darling Sav, please come home. I understand you were hurt, but we are all here for you. We love you. Mum and Dad." I roll the grey eyes I inherited from my mother. Lies. Although deep down I still love my parents and sister Isla, I'm not entirely sure I'd help them in the apocalypse either. My feelings toward them change daily, depending upon my mood. If I'm near that time of the month, they have absolutely no chance. Temptation tingles in my fingers, so I get up and grab my handbag from the table. I'll be early for work, at least 50 minutes, but Heidi won't mind. I can't stay here, where the call to reply is getting stronger. Spending some time with Heidi always helps. Her strength seeps into my pores, and I gain a little more clarity when I've spoken to her. She has no idea what she does for me. I've never told her the real reason I left. Of course, she knows that I'm not close with my family, and that I moved away, but no one in my new life knows about my old one. Not that I have many people around to hide my past from. I stop off at Starbucks on the way to the studio to grab Heidi's skinny latte and my Americano. She's a bit of a coffee nut, and if she doesn't have at least 5 cups a day, she gets cranky. The rain has eased, so I'm going to turn up at work looking like a drowned rat. When I open the door to the studio, Heidi is sitting at her sewing table in the corner of the room. She looks up over a large pile of white and navy chevron material and tilts her head to the side. Her blue eyes swim with sympathy. I'm only ever very early when something's gone wrong, meaning when my old life comes knocking. "What happened, Savannah?" she asks, holding her hand out for the large drink. I hand it over and drop down in a seat on the other side of the table. Running my hand through my damp hair, I consider, for the millionth time, confiding in Heidi. She only has a very small portion of the real story. "My mum," I mutter, sipping on my coffee. "Oh, babes, I hate that she's still treating you badly." Her words feel like broken glass rubbing against my skin. "I know, I do too. It's hard not to let her bother me when she messages." It's harder to read from my mum than Simon. It always takes me back to a time when I experienced the worst pain I'd ever felt. She should have been there for me. "Why don't you delete your old email account?" Heidi thinks my mum contacts me via email. I haven't told her I have a Facebook account. She thinks I'm weird for not being all over social media, but that's fine. No one here calls me Sav, so I don't think she would find it anyway. Not that she would look. I suck in a breath. I've asked myself that same question dozens of times over the last 3 years. I don't know why. Literally, I have no idea why I can't do it. Maybe I'm a masochist, and I secretly enjoy being hurt over and over again. Maybe I'm just as weak as I think. Heidi raises her eyebrow and brushes her iron-straight brown hair behind her shoulder. "We should work on that." "Oh, speaking of work, what are you making right now?" I ask, eyeing the fabric. "Order for mother and daughter skater dress in the zigzag that came in last night." "Last night? You're already starting it?" We have, including this new order, 17 items of clothing that Heidi needs to make by the end of the week, and she's making the most recent one. "Oh, don't look at me with those judgmental eyes, Dean. I'll put this away at 8 and work from the first order. Kent will be here soon too." My spine stiffens at the sound of his name. Heidi's younger brother, Kent, always puts me on edge. I've only met him around 5 or 6 times, and we've spoken fewer words than that. He's intense and arrogant, only talking to those he deems worthy. "Why is he coming today?" I ask, my voice wavering, getting higher, like I suddenly inhaled helium. After Simon's and my mum's messages this morning, I'm definitely not poised enough to be around Kent. Brilliant idea, coming into work early. Can I go back to bed and start the day again? Oh, last night I finally guilted him into putting together the new units and shelves in the storeroom. I wanted to get him in before he changed his mind, and I had to pay someone. We're running out of space, and we desperately need the storage. Oh, yeah, of course. When she mentioned asking Kent to put it together, rather than hiring someone to do it, I hoped he would refuse. It's a menial job, after all, and not worth his time. Oh, he's not that bad, Savannah. I shake my head, in an attempt to appear surprised by her statement. I don't think he's bad. Hun, you're a terrible liar. Oh, that is so untrue. He doesn't like me, and I suppose that makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Ignore me, though. I'm more emotional than normal. Do you need me to do anything other than the usual today? While Heidi handles the creative side of the business, I take on every other aspect. I deal with processing the orders through the website, social media, bookkeeping, packaging and posting orders, and all other admin jobs that need sorting. I love it. She winces, and I know I'm not going to like this. I feel awful asking now, but I need the storeroom cleared so Kent can work. All of the stuff just needs stacking in the far side, near the door. I smile, but I'm sure it looks more like a grimace because I'm certainly not going to enjoy being in such close proximity with the miserable one. No problem. The words taste sour leaving my mouth. I'm going to need a really big glass of wine when I get home tonight. Are you sure, Savannah? You just said he makes you uncomfortable, and I don't ever want you to feel that here. Raising my hand, I kick my legs out and sink back into the seat. Oh, that was a bad analogy. Like I said, I'm ultra-sensitive today, but honestly, I have no issue with working alongside your brother. It'll be good to get the storeroom organised. I add a smile to really sell my speech. Heidi sighs in relief, the colour returning to her cheeks as she realises she can concentrate on creating amazing handmade clothing, rather than babysitting me and her brother. See, I'm not a terrible liar. I take a large sip of my coffee. At least I have the biggest caffeine hit Starbucks sells. The front door to the studio bangs open. I feel him before I see him. The air changes, thickening to the point where I fear it might choke me. Heidi stands up and takes her latte with her as she greets her brother. My pulse hums. Breathe, Savannah. I've survived worse than Kent Lawson. My legs are made of lead as I stand and turn to face them. All right, so Kent might come across as angry or bored most of the time, but Jesus, he is good-looking. He's easily over 6 foot, with dark hair styled slightly longer on top, eyes that are closer to turquoise, changing from blue to green depending on what he's wearing, and muscles that could turn any sane woman crazy. But he's a massive knobhead, a massive one, so there's that. He makes me feel as timid and insignificant as I sometimes feel. I can't ignore the change in myself when he's around, and damn, I hate him for that. Heidi starts talking to him and leads him towards the storeroom, but her words are just noise. Kent hasn't even acknowledged my presence. Not that I'm surprised, but sometimes it's nice to be seen as an actual human being. See, he's a knobhead. Fucking hell, Heidi, what have you bought? He grumbles, looking into the storeroom. It's a pretty big space, and we have shelves and cupboards that span the length and height of the longest wall, opposite the door. Oh, thanks for agreeing to do this, she replies sweetly, totally unfazed by his less-than-charming manner. I'll start clearing the rolls of material away from the flat-pack boxes, I offer. My voice sounds normal, so at least no one in this room, besides me, knows how nervous I am around Kent. No, Savannah, finish your coffee first, Heidi says, giving me a look that I know means, do as I say. I pause, standing still, and not really knowing what to do. On the one hand, I want to rush into it and get it over with, but I also really want this coffee. Yeah, it's not like I have anything else to do, Kent says, raising his eyebrow. Gritting my teeth so hard, I'm surprised they don't snap. I count backward from 10. You want to keep your job. Kent, don't be a dick. Ignore him, Savannah. He obviously got out of bed on the wrong side. She slaps his arm hard, but he doesn't even flinch. "Be nice to her," Heidi tries to whisper, but I still hear. And now I feel like a child. Seriously, I want my do-over. Kent swings his arms behind his back and rocks back and forth on his feet. He looks around the room, but he's not really taking anything in. He's trying to make it clear that he's waiting. I take a sip very slowly and narrow my eyes. My heart is racing as I challenge him, because although I want to stand up to him, he would definitely win if pushed. Why does he make me feel even weaker than usual? Because you know the old you would have taken him down in seconds. You wouldn't have let him make you feel meek. I don't stand up to him because he's the sort of guy to push, and all I want is to keep people out. Kent isn't someone you're able to keep at arm's length. No, he would be all up in my face, and other areas. Kent's chest expands as he sucks in a breath. He stills, not letting it out. Watching me with his stunning eyes, he rocks back again. Heidi is oblivious of the battle I'm having with her brother, still looking into the storeroom with a frown. She's probably having one final debate about where things should go. She walks inside and doesn't look back at us. I take another sip. God knows where I found the confidence to face Kent, but I don't look away. Partly because I'm tired of feeling weak, and partly because Kent is like gravity. He's the car crash you can't look away from. Kent lets out a long breath, eyes still staring dead at me. I sip. He tilts his head down, glowering. If his eyes shot bullets, I'd be gone. I take the final sip, stretch my arm out, and let the cup drop into the bin. Smirking, he drops his arms from his back to his sides. Done. Ready when you are, I reply, standing tall. I want to high-five myself for holding my own, but I'm not yet entirely sure I won't faint. That wasn't a good idea. Kent dips his chin in the direction of the storeroom. He's letting me go first. Well, fuck me. Maybe he just wants to watch me fall over. But I don't. I walk ahead of him with my head held high, like a total boss.
2. Kent. I offered to put this shit together over 2 weekends, but Heidi was having none of it. She didn't want to come in on her days off, as she's big on downtime to improve productivity. What fucking ever. Never mind that I don't want to be in the same room as Savannah Dean, which is currently where I am. Heidi was stupid to employ her, only giving her a job because she heard some fucking sob story, no doubt. I'm proud of my sister, but we could keep her business in the family. One of our cousins could be doing what Savannah is doing here. I ball my hands and breathe deeply. Savannah bites her lip and gestures to the boxes with her hand. Where do you want to start? Though she's always been boring as hell and a meek pushover, the coffee thing excluded, she's without a shadow of a fucking doubt the hottest thing I've seen in my life. Slim figure with a few curves in the right places, long dark blonde hair, which was almost brown when I saw her in winter, I remember, and big grey eyes that remind me of the sky before a storm. Someone with the personality of a Monday shouldn't look like that. Heidi keeps telling me to give her a chance, but what's the point? She's not the type of girl I'd hang out with. I prefer someone who wouldn't jump if I called their name. I don't know why, but she seems so emotionless and shady. Clear a space and open the first box, I guess, I reply. All right. Spinning, she heads over to the boxes and gets started. I watch her as we clear a space big enough to put together this massive storage unit. Every move is thought out and precise, but she does almost bump into me a couple of times. Sorry, she mutters, shifting around me again. For fuck's sake, she apologizes every time we almost bump into each other. Almost. How pathetic is that? Her arm grazes mine, and I jerk my head back. She spins around, her hair fanning around her back. Shit, her hair smells like coconut. Abandoned ship. I grit my teeth. Clamping my mouth shut, I haul a large box out of the way and ignore her. She moves over to the other side of the room and keeps her eyes down, seemingly trying not to look at me. I shove a stack of paperwork in a box half full of other paperwork. They really need to get a handle on their filing. Savannah moves materials and boxes of needles and thread out of the storeroom. Her long hair falls in her face as she bends down to pick up a small stack of fashion magazines. I now know how it smells too. My dick responds, staring at the thought of that hair splayed out over my thighs. Get it together. She probably doesn't even do blowjobs. I bet her face would turn bright red at the mere mention of sucking a dick. She picks up a large box, her fingers digging into the bottom. It's probably too much for her to carry. Why she doesn't put it down and leave it for me, I don't know. I fold my arms and watch her shuffle awkwardly to the door in her heels. Ask for fucking help. I'm not that much of a dickhead that I wouldn't help her, but apparently I'm big enough of a dickhead to watch her struggle with it. Why doesn't she ask? She turns to head out the door, and that's when I see it. A roll of fabric sticking a little too far out on the floor. I drop my arms and open my mouth, but before I can move an inch or mutter a word, she's falling. Fuck. With a short scream, she hits the floor, face planting on the box. Shit, Savannah, I shout, sprinting to where she's lying on the floor. Pushing herself onto her arse, she hisses, "Oh God, my wrist. Jesus, it hurts. I think it's broken." Well, that's great. She's probably going to sue my sister. Savannah lifts her wrist with her good hand and winces. I crouch down, and her grey eyes flick to me. I place my hand under hers, gently touching her slim wrist. "Show me," I urge. "Why? Do you have medical training I don't know about?" She snaps. Her words are completely unlike her. I blink, surprised that she's not only said more than a few words to me, but that they're sarcastic words too. I'm half impressed, half turned on. What the hell has gotten into her? The 5 or 6 times I've seen her before, she's been quiet and shy. Does pain make her argumentative? I don't know if she's withdrawn because that's just her, or if she's hiding something. I don't like that I can't read her. That's how you get fucked over. I would know. Hilarious. I move my hand closer to her. "Now, let me see." Removing her good arm, she mutters, "Fine, but don't touch it too hard. It's painful." "Yeah, you went down like a sack of shit there." "Well, thanks." She winces. For a good minute, neither of us speaks. I don't dare look up at her because I have no idea what I'll find. All I know is that I don't like her being in pain, and I can smell coconut. I can't see any visible breaks, but it's starting to swell. We should get it looked at. Growling, she narrows those pretty eyes. "This is just great. I should have known. Simon can bloody rot. I don't care if he gets eaten." She clamps her mouth shut, mid-rant. Her pale skin turns pink over her cheeks. "What are you going on about?" I ask. "Who's Simon?" Shaking her head, she drops her eyes. "Nothing. Forget it. This really hurts, so I need to get to accident and emergency. Can you let Heidi know what's happened, please? I'll be back as soon as I can." I'm still kneeling on the floor as she gets up. I should move. "Kent? Hello?" Snapping back to reality, I leap to my feet. "I'll take you." "What? No, you don't need to do that. There's a taxi service just down the road." "I said I'll fucking take you, Savannah. Do you need anything? A handbag?" Her slender frame jumps at my volume. She needs to accept help the first damn time and not try arguing against it. "Yeah, I need my bag," she says, walking out of the room. This is a bad idea. I should just let her get a taxi. Jabbing my finger and thumb in my eyes, I groan. Dropping my arms to my sides, I sigh and follow her out of the room. I should never have agreed to help Heidi. I grab my keys from Heidi's table and we head out the door. Savannah pushes it with her good arm. I slam my hand on the door above her, shoving it wide open so that she doesn't have to. Looking up at me through her lashes, she smiles in thanks. Tapping my fingers against my palm, I ignore her. Or I try to at least. The scent of her hair is still intoxicating. I unlock my car and glance over the road at the cafe where Heidi is getting more coffee. I can't see her, but we don't have time to go looking. Savannah needs medical attention. Tugging open the door to my Range Rover, I stand to the side so Savannah can get in. Her light eyebrows rise in surprise. Thanks, Kent. Is it really that surprising that I've opened a door for her again? How low is her opinion of me? I jog around to the driver's side, get in, and start the engine. "I should call Heidi and let her know what's going on," she says, digging around in her bag for her phone. She rests her bad arm on her leg, her eyes narrowing slightly through pain. I speed down the road, eager to get her to the hospital and me away from this whole situation. Next time Heidi asks me for help, I'm going to hire someone for her. Gripping the steering wheel harder, I listen to Savannah's soft voice as she explains to my sister why we left. Honestly, I'm fine, Heidi. I'll be back after I've had it checked. She wants to go back to work. I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure she should rest it for at least a day. The words are on the tip of my tongue before I realise she's nothing to do with me, and I don't care if she goes back to work or fucks off and goes home. I don't care about Savannah Dean. Yeah, I'll let you know as soon as I do. Bye, Heidi. Savannah lowers the phone and cuts the call. Her eyes flick to mine for a nanosecond before she's looking down. I watch her pull her full bottom lip between her teeth and chew it like it's a piece of fucking steak. She's either in a lot more pain than she's letting me see, or my presence makes her more nervous than I first thought. I'm not a total wanker, at least not all the time. We're nearly there, I say, giving in to the need to fill the silence and maybe make her more comfortable with being in the car with me. Her head rises, grey eyes seeking mine, and she gives me a stunning smile. Yeah, thanks again for driving me. It's a lot quicker than waiting for a taxi. That and I don't charge as much. Her eyes widen. Of course, I'm going to give you money for petrol, she says, flustered as she digs in her bag. Whoa, Savannah, chill. I was kidding. What the fuck? I don't want your money. She freezes with her hand in her bag. Her face is blank, like she's trying to figure out how to respond. This is damn painful. It was a joke. My eyes widen, a bad one clearly. Clearing her throat, she sits back up in the chair. Right, sorry, though I don't mind. You are doing me a favour. No money, Savannah. Fucking hell. I make a left, and the hospital is just up ahead. She sighs. I hope I don't have a long wait. The last time I was here, it took almost 3 hours to get my foot looked at. What did you do to your foot? Chopped a kettle on it. Thankfully, it was filled with cold water, not hot. So you're accident-prone in general. Tilting her head, she cuts me a look. I've only had to go to the hospital twice in my whole life. Well, 3 times after today. What was the other trip for? Turning away, her shoulders bunching over, she sucks in a breath. Well, I've hit a nerve. She doesn't say a word, but the walls go so high, I'm surprised she hasn't jumped from the car yet. That was weird. Her body is rigid as she stares out the window, like she's alone in the car. It's still awkward, so thank God we're here. I pull into the car park and by some miracle, I find a space right away. The second I stop, she takes off her seatbelt. Thank you for the lift. I appreciate it. Am I really about to do this? Look, I'll come in and make sure you're okay. You so don't have to do that. I'll be fine from here. How will you get back? I ask. A taxi? And what if the driver attacks you? How will you properly defend yourself with only one good arm? Her lip quirks. Really, Kent? You never know. I think I'll be fine. My chest burns with anger, annoyance. I'm not sure, but she, or the fact that I've not been this attracted to a woman since my ex, is pissing me off. Savannah, I'm coming. All right. She concedes and tugs the door handle with her good hand. I didn't think it would take long for her to back down. Thanks. I groan and look up. What the fuck have I got myself into? I could hardly go back to Heidi's office alone, though. She'd have had my balls for leaving Savannah alone at the hospital. Getting out of the car, I lock the doors and walk around the front where Savannah is waiting. With a little half smile, she turns and walks toward the accident and emergency entrance. How's the wrist? I ask, striding beside her. She's got a proper march on. She must be in a lot of pain. I have to walk inhumanly fast to keep up. It hurts. The double doors slide open as we approach, and Savannah heads to the reception desk. The chick behind the desk, probably only a few years older than me, looks at me first. Her eyes linger a little too long. Just do your job, for fuck's sake. I'll get to you in a minute. How can I help you? She asks. Savannah clears her throat. I fell and hurt my wrist. The woman, Calley, according to her name badge, is totally my type. But coming onto her in the middle of her shift and in a busy accident and emergency room is probably a no-no. Not that I'm not up for the challenge. Okay, she says, averting her eyes and finally looking at Savannah. I just need to take a few details. Usually I wouldn't let something such as work, public spaces or human decency get in the way of a shag, and the vibes Calley is giving me guarantees me naked time, but there's something about having Savannah right here that has me biting my tongue. I'm supposed to go back and put flat pack storage systems together for my sister too. I don't want to let Heidi down. That's what it is.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?